Okay, so we start this journey with Module 1, right? And this is the foundation of the entire course. So what we want to achieve with manufacturing fundamentals is to set the tone of what the manufacturing industry is all about. So if you're new to the manufacturing industry or you have some form of experience, but what we want to do here, right, is regardless of whether you're new or you have some experience, you understand the context of which when we say manufacturing, this is what we mean. This is where manufacturing stops, this is where it starts, this is how it started, and all of that, right? And this is such an important, setting the tone for the entire course because if you do not understand manufacturing as an industry, right, we will most likely not be speaking the same language. So I thought it would be important to set the tone, start on the right foundation, and then we'll take it up from there. So this is probably one of the simplest models here, probably one of the easiest to understand because it is, just setting the context for manufacturing as a function. All right, so what do we talk about in this model? So we're going to start with the history of manufacturing, right? And this is pretty straightforward. How did manufacturing start as a means of, as a process here? We're also going to talk about what manufacturing is, right? So what really is manufacturing? We're going to talk about manufacturing techniques, right? Manufacturing process. So what are the processes that we use in manufacturing, as well as manufacturing, how it fits into supply chain as a whole, right? We'll talk about that in some detail. And then what are those cost drivers? So what are those things that can impact your cost as a manufacturing, business? The process of manufacturing, what are those things that can either increase your cost or bring down your cost, right? So these are things. And then we'll look at some popular KPIs. KPI stands for key performance indicators, right? So what are those key performance indicators that we use in manufacturing to measure our performance? How do we know we are doing well, right? Because these are even some of the key performance indicators that we measure for improvements, right? So if I'm saying I'm going to improve in a certain way, I'm most likely targeting one of these KPIs, right? Either increasing one of them or reducing the other, depending on what KPI we're talking about. And then we will end this model talking about some common challenges in manufacturing. So the basic idea of this model is to give you a sense of what the manufacturing industry is all about. So if you've never heard of manufacturing or you heard of it, but you've never really, taken your time to really understand what it entails, right? You work in a food and beverage manufacturing organization. This is the model you want to start with, right? You want to start with understanding, what kind of techniques, because the kind of techniques, for instance, that your business uses also determines, the kind of decisions that it makes, determines how it sees, value, recognizes value, captures value, and then you're able to drive change in the right direction since that alignment is done, right? So this is something that is really, really important as a foundation here for professionals. So that's model one in a very nutshell.